got him. There we go. Haha. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Alright, you see me catch plenty of white bass, largemouth, and smallmouth, but did y'all know I was also a certified crappie angler? Nice fish. Dang, as soon as it hit. Oh man, this is so much fun. So much fun. There we go, got him. Man, I keep catching them like this. I might have to throw them in the bucket. There we go, got him. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture. A little better crappie here. Ooh, there we go. Come on, fishy. Come on, fishy. Get in that boat. There we go. How y'all doing? Catching fish? Whoa. There we go. Your crowd still catching some fishies. It don't matter. Come on, fish next to me. Oh yeah. There we go. That's a big old one. As you can see, I tore up them crappie today. I had initially set out to do a live scope settings video, and I messed up the footage on that, but in the process I located a mega group of crappie, and I couldn't leave them alone. I got like fishing ADD. If I see some fish, I got to catch them. I set out to catch some bass, but I got so distracted and had so much fun with them crappie, I just could not leave them things alone. Now, funny story, I had initially, I don't target crappie a lot. I was gonna go and give this spot away to a lucky local on the Guntersville CRAPPIE page, but I guess one of them boat buzzards circling me was an administrator, and even though I was giving this spot away for free, they slapped me with a ban. But their loss is your gain. If you've watched any of my videos recently, you know how much I love this little Kitech 2-inch Easy Shiner. That's what I was throwing today, and this exact color actually, electric shad, just a little 2-inch swim bait on a 1/8 to 16th ounce head. They were tearing that thing up. Just sometimes as soon as that thing hit the water, I'd engage the reel and I would have a fish on. It was just back to back to back, non-stop action. Now this head, I really like. They're hard to find, but it's a Gamakatsu crappie head. It's got a little screw lock on there. I do like to cut a couple of those coils off. I think they have too much coil for the shank of the hook. It makes it a little bit tedious to thread your lure on. But that's the lure and hook I was using. Another thing I like as well, if you can't find these Gamakatsu heads, is these little Euro tackle micro finesse tungsten soft lock head. Now it's not screw lock, so you do have to glue your baits on there, but these things are great for fishing for crappie and bluegill, shellcracker, you know, any little panfish. They have a number 6 hook on there that's light wire, and that smaller light wire hook really gets you that better hookup percentage, and especially when you're fishing for bluegill, lets them get that hook in their mouth. And a lot of people slam that light wire stuff because you can bend your hook out, but if you know you're using a light wire hook, you know, use a little softer rod. Make sure you back off on your drag a little bit. You got a big a big 2-3 pound crappie on there, or a big bass, don't try to boat flip it. Get the net. That light wire hook will increase your hookup percentage, and you can't catch fish if you don't hook them. Another benefit of that lighter wire hook is, you get hooked up in a stump. That's tungsten. That tungsten head is, tungsten's expensive, so that light wire hook allows you to go and straighten that hook out a little bit and get your lure back sometimes. And all you got to do is get your pliers and straighten it back out into its original form, and you're good to go. All right, how was I using this little bait? It was very simple. All I was doing is casting it, counting it down on, or watching it on my sonar. I was using my live scope mainly just for cast angle. I wasn't keeping it visually on the screen all the time. We had a little bit of wind and current coming through. It made visualizing it the whole time a little bit difficult. Basically, I was casting it out, counting it down to depth. I wanted to keep that bait a little bit above the school of crappie, and once I got it there, I would just kind of let it pendulum towards me above them, and I would give little pops. You can see in my some of the footage, I'm shaking my rod a little bit, and that's to kind of keep that bait suspended, slow it down above their heads, get their attention, and that was triggering a lot of strikes. And sometimes I was popping the rod because they were positioned around some stumps and also some clumps of grass. And just like bass fishing, when I hit that grass, I'd give it a little pop, stay above the grass, and sometimes that little pop up out the grass would trigger a strike. Some of these fish were positioned on the pylons of the bridge itself, but a lot of these fish were sitting right where it rolls off from the flat to the deeper water. Right along that edge, there's some stumps. You can see this in a lot of places in Guntersville, where you have an old creek channel. You'll have some stumps there along it, and they're sitting along that where it rolls off near some stumps and clumps of grass. And a lot of times I was fan casting in front of that bridge. They're relating to that little dip and the stumps, clumps of grass. Another thing is their position close to the shade line. Crappie typically, like that slower moving water, they want some current break. If we had current coming towards me, I was casting up current, bringing that bait back with the current, and they're sitting behind the pylons, behind these stumps in the current break. That's one thing. If you want to find crappie, look for and you have current going, look for the slack water, and also look for the darkest places. They're sitting in the shade, especially as that sun started to come up. They started to kind of suck off the flat and the grass clumps and position more under the bridge into the shade a little bit. They started to bunch up a little bit better for me. Make sure when you're fishing for crappie, you're a little gentler with them. I was jacking these fish a little bit. I was getting, especially when I started catching a bunch of them, I was jacking them a little bit hard. If you set the hook hard, try to fight them in. These fish have very soft mouths. They're called paper mouths for a reason. If you're gentle with the fish, you'll get more in the boat. You get a big one. I had a couple hard breaks today. I was a little bit lazy with the net. I'm a little bit crippled up. I don't like hobbling over to the net, and I lost a couple of big ones right at the boat. Now, Weiss claims that they're the crappie capital of the world, but let me tell you, Guntersville ain't no joke either. We have a lot of crappie, and we have some big crappie. We have some 3 and 4 pound crappie in the lake. Now, the ones I caught today weren't 3 or 4 pounds, but I caught some that were no joke, sitting in that 14 to 16 inch range, which to me that's a good sized crappie. These fish weren't quite as heavy. It looked like a lot of them had spawned out, because after the fish spawn out, they tend to start to work their way back into the creek channels and to the main river. And here in Guntersville, they like to relate to those stumps that are sitting along the creek channel. You'll see it as you're side scanning out. I'm side scanning for bass a lot, and you'll see these stumps sticking up. You'll see stump, 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 and then all of a sudden you'll see one that looks like a kindergartner drew a tree. You'll see that little stump, and then you'll see a bunch of little dots around it. Alright, I hope you learned something today. Please like, subscribe, and if you need anything from Amazon, I have an affiliate link. Please bookmark it. It costs you nothing. It's free 99 and helps me pump out some more content for you. Use these tips today, use these lures, and I'm confident you'll load the boat. Alright, I told you what I was fishing. Where exactly was I fishing? I shouldn't be giving my spots away, but I am for you. I was right at the BB Comer bridge, right out from the ramp, doing my live scope video. Navionics does not paint this picture quite like it really lays out. This sticks out a little bit further here, and these fish were relating to some stumps and the clumps of eelgrass along this break that sticks out. And I was casting some at these pylons and bringing it kind of uphill past these stumps and clumps of eelgrass, and I was casting, it sticks more straight, I was casting along this break here and catching those fish that were on those stumps and clumps of grass. As summer rolls on, you'll find a lot more of these crappie that are doing that. What you need to look for if you want to get away from these more pressured bridge fish is find you a creek channel. I'm going here, finding the example here. South Saudi is a good example here. We got a nice long old creek channel. This is what I'm talking about here. And along this old creek channel, if you use your side scan, down scan, you'll find some nice stumps along here. Some of these stumps will look like they just got a cloud around them. You see a bunch of dots, and you can find some big schools of crappie along these old creek channels. And the main river has got lots of stumps too along the edge. You just got to put some time in on the water behind the console, and you can find some stumps that are holding big groups of fish that are not as pressured as all these ones that are on the bridges. Like South Saudi Bridge has got a ton of crappie on it, but they're some of the most educated fish in the lake. If you just idle along the creek channel, you might find some stumps that are holding good numbers of fish that are much easier to catch. And I don't know about you, but I don't like working any harder than I have to.